I think that the most powerful image for understanding the meaning of suffering and service was spoken by Master Eckhart in medieval mystic times. He said, "From all eternity, God lies on a maternity bed giving birth." So the essence of God is birthing. The philosophers and theologians have spent tons of ink and paper to explain how God could have created a universe in which there is suffering. The beauty of Jesus is that he refrains suffering by taking it as a fact and describes attitudes which enable one to practice service and thus transcend suffering by lessening the suffering of others. He invites us to, and this is the exciting part, get involved in God's birthing process. By living lives of service. In this spirit, an author by the name of Tagore said the first non-European to win a Nobel Prize said, "I wept and dreams that life was joy. I awoke and saw that life was service. I acted, and behold, service is joy." Jesus was clear. We all drink from the cup of suffering. It's part of the human condition. I cannot fault the universe for suffering if I'm not willing to myself do something to lessen that suffering. And Jesus models for us the qualities of this servanthood, which enables me to reframe, transcend my own suffering, and make a real difference in the world. By respectful service, selfless service, and patient service. So let's just reflect on these for a moment. First of all, service implies respect. See, in the gospel today, the disciples are like the Keystone Cops. They hanker after top dog, one at your right and one at your left. Which one is going to be greatest? By comparing. I think the fact is that for most and many people, ego rules the day. Jesus was always trying to get disciples to go beyond themselves. So part of this service is not comparing myself with others. And the reason is comparisons are odious. You are uniquely you. And God threw away the model when you were born. You are unique. And you can accept a person without judgment, and then you have the ability to actually serve them. Carl Jung said, "You are what you do and not what you say you do." Comparisons of oneself with others are childish, manipulative, and immature. The servant develops an attitude of respect awe and reverence of others. Jesus' service of others was not filled with ego. Jesus did not point to himself. Look, see what a great guy I am. That wasn't Jesus. But he was measured, sensitive, and very present to others that he served. If you'd like to repeat after me, I follow Jesus by choosing respectful service. I follow Jesus by choosing a life of respectful service. Service implies selflessness. We have a really silly habit of projecting ourselves into other people and what they need. We value others by the standards we hold for ourselves. Ours is a religion of mysticism and prayer, sacraments, and scripture, which have a deep humility with them, and especially in the way that we relate with each other. Jesus calls his servants to a profound listening. Responding to the needs of people as they experience them. And the hard truth is that service is not about me. Raising a child is not about you. It's about the parent. It's about the child. Being married is not about me. It's about the relationship of love with your spouse that you and your spouse build. Being a priest is not about FrKenna, but it's about the work and the giving and the presence that I have for others, the support. It's not having my ego stroked. It's about, so we have some very subtle ways of intimidating others by making my service about me. I think Gandhi said it well. The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in service of others. Thank you, Mr. Gandhi. The fact is that we are all cut from the same cloth. Nobody is more important than anybody else, but everybody is very important. Great people, if you've had the opportunity to meet a truly great person, you don't feel that they are great. They make you feel great. Martin Luther King said, everybody can be great because everybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject and verb agree to serve. You only need a heart full of grace and a soul generated by love. If you'd like to repeat after me, I follow Jesus by choosing a life of selfless service. I follow Jesus by choosing a life of selfless service. And thirdly, service implies patience. Jesus was a great model of patience. He called the disciples together, even when they said something stupid, and he said, "Okay, settle down. Now let me go through this again." He gives patient encouragement. It's a skill that must be practiced and learned. Encouraging people by listening deeply to them and looking and attempting to look at life through their eyes. The fact is that people are not mind readers, and so we have to let them know of our concern and our desire to listen and to be present to them in a way that they can understand. Jimmy Carter articulated this spirit when he said, "I have one life and one chance to make it count for something. I'm free to choose what that something is. And the something I've chosen is faith. Now, my faith goes beyond theology and religion and requires considerable work and effort. My faith demands that, and this is not optional, my faith demands that I do whatever I can, wherever I am, whenever I can, for as long as I can, with whatever I have, to make a real difference." Thank you, Jimmy Carter. It's a good attitude. Jesus' whole ministry was patiently pouring himself out in a mental, spiritual, social, and physical healing ministry. So if you'd like to repeat after me, I follow Jesus by choosing a life of selfless service. I follow Jesus by choosing a life of selfless service. You see, so much of our time and energy is spent fearing and avoiding suffering and trying to buy happiness. Well, the fact is you can't buy happiness. Even less can I avoid suffering by taking a pill, pursuing an addiction, or some distraction. Things are fine, but they're not going to make you happy. They feel good for a little while, but generally you'll end up feeling worse than you did at the beginning. This birthing process is the heart of service, and Jesus models it and encourages it perfectly. We participate in God's birthing process by service. It can be painful, but that's what life is about. Yes, for us, it is impossible, but God writes straight with crooked lines. We create an environment in which birth takes place by choosing a life of respectful, selfless, and patient service. And that is the challenge and message of the gospel today.